Something that I've heard a lot as a white man in Hollywood is that I didn't get such and such an opportunity because they couldn't hire a white man. And when I'm told that, I tell the person, first of all, who told me that to f*** off because that's racist and it's a lie.
Tyler, do you believe he says that?
Nah. Nope.
I move my non-dairy soy lactate to the side. I lean forward. I look that racist right in his goddamn eyes and I say, F off. Not on my watch, cracker.
You've attacked black journalists, calling them a loser, saying the questions that they asked are, quote, stupid and racist. Now that you are asking black supporters to vote for you.
Why does she keep saying black, black, black?
Stop being pussies. If you're not actually racist, if you don't have any real hate in your heart, look at somebody who is attacking you and treat them as you would attack anybody. Racism is quiet. Racism is like looking around the room, seeing not everybody looks like you, and then being like, let's get out of here. And then writing a bad Yelp review. That's racism.
Everyone's a victim!
So what's up, everybody? Happy hump day. Happy Wednesday, halfway through another week. You know what today is? Today's not hump day. Today is profit day. For most of you working class stiffs in late stage communist takeover America, right around noon today, you actually made money for yourself and your family. Give it up, give it up, give it up for them. Give it up for them. The government has taken their full 2 days of a cut from you and sent it to either Ukraine or Israel. They definitely did it for the common good. We're building high-speed rail and fighting climate change. Yeah, that's what they're doing. That's what they're doing. That's why every public servant you know who makes $100,000 a year has a $100 million net worth, because they're using your money to benefit you and your community. I am Gerard Michaels. This is Gerard versus Evil. To my left, I have Skylar Kelly. You guys on TikTok can't see him or hear him. So if you want to see and hear us, stop. The people who text me. All right, let me get this out. The people who text me while I'm live saying, like, you're saying complimentary things, so I'm trying desperately to be nice to you, but I have to. What do? Do I block these people? Comment in you. I don't know where else I can be. I'm on Facebook Live right now. I'm on TikTok Live right now. I am on YouTube Live right now. I am on X Live right now. I'd be on Instagram, but they banned me because I made fun of Kamala Harris. True story. Go to my stories on Instagram to check it out. We'll be on Rumble soon. We'll be on Parler soon. Anywhere you want me to be, I will be. Stop texting me. What kind of an animal are you? You think you're that special? There's 2 people on Earth. 4. There's 4 people on Earth that are allowed to text me while I'm live. And I promise you, you're not one of them. Stop it. Stop it. If you're on TikTok and you want your comments read live on air by Skylar, go to either Facebook, YouTube, or X. I'll get to you guys in a while. After, let me know in the TikTok comments. There's going to be 1,000 Kamala bots, because the Kamala bots are everywhere on social media now. It's so insane. And the funniest thing is the Kamala bots are out there trying to tell the world that she's not this far left extremist. She's a centrist. You don't even know what real communism is. Guys, if your worldview requires this much lying, if your worldview requires this much manipulation for people to follow it, your worldview sucks. Let's just call it what it is. If you have to lie this much, she's not far left, but it would be better if she was. Well, what is it? Is communism good or is it not? She's not a communist. She's a corporatist. Yeah, okay. Okay. Sure thing. Because in their world, communist just means good. They don't even know what a communist is. And that's the funniest thing, is they'll be like, you don't even know what a real communist is. I've studied this stuff so extensively, it would blow your minds. I wrote my senior thesis in college on Kapital, Das Kapital. You guys have no concept. Because I dress like an asshole and I like to shop at Buc-ee's. You guys think you're dealing with some yokel. You have no idea how good at this I really am. You don't have any clue what my contacts are. You don't know where I get my information because I don't get my information from places you can. I've worked in the belly of the beast. I've seen it from the inside. I've been inside government. I've been inside politics. I've been inside the entertainment industry. I've written words that have been spoken in front of hundreds of thousands of people that you'll never know. I've written for politicians. I've wrote the words that came out of their mouth for people that ran for president. I've written for actors that you love, that I write their stuff. Ghost writer. You'll never know who they are. I'll never tell because I get paid. You think I make any money doing this? I lose money doing this. I lose a career doing this, but I think it's that important. That's why I do it. Because it is that important, and I know it's that important because of what I just said. I've been inside the belly of the beast, and I know what's happening. Some of your favorite comedians, I've written their jokes. People with millions and millions of followers. Maybe I'll tell all in a tell-all one day. How do you think I got the gigs I got? How do you think I got into the places I get? Why do you think my fat ass is always around these famous people? Use your heads, guys. Do I got to spell it out for you? I've been inside the belly of the beast. You don't know what real communism is. You don't know that actual real communists are running the show. You don't know where the money comes from. You don't know that there was PLA officers on the ground during the riots in the Summer of Love. That could be seen as an act of war. You don't know that people from Homeland Security have told me that they found foreign agents helping plan those riots, helping organize and to pay for those riots. That was Trump's major. Trump made two massive mistakes. Three massive mistakes. One, he didn't gut. He's a deal maker. He talked the tough rhetoric, but he did not gut the Holder DOJ and the Hillary Clinton DOD. DOD and DOJ. Should have gutted them. Got rid of everybody that was a holdover. Got rid of everybody all the way down to a secretary. They are ideologues. Anybody who was an ideological hire, afuera. Gotta go. They sabotaged them at every turn. Should have got rid of them. Didn't. Huge mistake. Huge mistake numero dos. The vaccine. What do still till just a couple months ago, till somebody finally talked some sense into him. He really, really, really thought that was like some great accomplishment. That was a huge, huge L by DJT. And numero three, and perhaps most importantly, he allowed the media conglomerate fueled by the Democratic Party, driven by external, mostly European forces, to drive a wedge down the middle of our country in this culture war in the Summer of Love and the racial riots. And what he should have done, he was smart enough to pull the money out of the Paris Accord. He was smart enough to tax the shit out of China. He was smart enough to finance the Taiwan Democracy Rebellion. Do you remember that, Skylar?
Yeah, a little bit.
Do you remember? Does anybody even remember that there was a democracy rebellion in Taiwan, and there was going to be elections, and they were going mainland China, and then all those people disappeared? Trump was beating the hell out of China, and then somebody ate a bat. Timeout. They called timeout. Got out of the WHO, got out of the Paris Accords, started handing invoices to NATO, and everybody in the world global economy saw their trillions of dollars disappearing before their eyes and said, no. We got to do something about this. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. And he handled it poorly because what he should have done is he should have gotten rid of every ideologue that had infiltrated our government. And by the way, since he's been gone in these last 4 years of the most overtly corrupt presidency our country has seen, since the Teapot Dome scandal days, it's going to be so much worse. It's going to be so much worse. I mean, there are field agents that have been fired and replaced for ideological reasons. Like there's no level of our government that is not partisan now. Can't function like that. We can't function with our 3-letter agencies acting like, the brown shirts of the Democratic Party, like the PLA acts for the Chinese Communist Party. Can't happen. Doesn't function. Doesn't work. Can't have a country of 330 million people who disagree if only 100 million of them have any actual real authority. That's a recipe for disaster. So Trump messed up because he could have gotten real firm with those insurgents and tied them to external organizers and financiers because they were involved through the Open Border Society. They didn't do it. Too messy, I guess. I don't know. I don't know why he didn't do it. Should have done it. Should have been firmer, but he was very, very, very afraid of being seen as a racist, as if the media were ever going to not paint him as a racist. Some fascist he is, huh? For a guy that's supposed to be this fascist dictator, he sure did not use the bully pulpit to silence his opponents the way, the administration before him and the administration after him have. Some dictator, Obama, Nobel Peace Prize winner, the great Obama, weaponized the FBI, spied on Trump. We know that. It's not, I don't think that's news to anybody that with a functioning brain. We know that now. That's what Nixon resigned for, by the way. No big deal. Under the rug. Under the Democratic rug. We know that Obama weaponized the IRS against his political opponents. Remember the Tea Party? That was a thing. See you later. What did he pay? You can look that up, Skyler. What did he pay? Like a $10 million fine? Tons of comments. Let's read them out before we get into it. Look at these comments. Right, so are these all the people that were in the White Dudes for Kamala group? Look at all these comments.
Looks like we got Albedo Black saying, "Sup, bro, dig the Bucky shirt."
Bucky's all day. Bucky's all day. By the way, TikTok, if you want to get in on all these comments, if you want to get in on Skyler over there reading your comments live, just head over to YouTube, X, or Facebook. Every comment gets read aloud. Even yours, G Kev. Commie-Honkies, you guys go last, but you understand equity and all that. You guys know your place. This is about listening. This is about learning. This is about understanding your privilege and allowing, the working class American to go first. Talk to me. We got tons of comments. Let's rock and roll.
All right. So Adolfo says Kamala for democracy and president.
Kamala for democracy and president. She's so much for democracy, nobody gets to vote for her. Yeah.
Chris Solano Whale says, thank you. Yes, they are.
What's happening? What's happening?
Bakos says, Gerard's a legend. Man, I wish he never left the PBD. It's unfortunate the dumb guy Adam ruined the connection of all of them.
It's so funny. People think it was Adam that is the reason I'm not there anymore. I guess I was tough with Adam. Me and Adam had a friendly relationship off air. I actually liked Adam as a person off air. He's a politician. Adam is a different person to you. There's no one Adam. The Adam that you see on the PBD podcast is an actor. You guys got to understand, like, he doesn't believe half of what he says, but he knows his role and he knows where his bread is buttered. He's there to be the punching bag, and that's what he does. He probably had something to do with me getting the axe. I know a lot of guys over there were not really happy with really how much you guys liked what I was saying and how much you guys liked me. I think, you know, they weren't super thrilled with that. And you know, they wanted me to tone it down, and they tried to cut me off at the knees, and that's just not who I am. So, listen, in fairness, I think they pretty much tried to get me to quit for a couple months before they actually finally fired me, and I just waited them out. But there's a whole long story behind it, and I've already said too much. But I wish those guys nothing but success. I think they're doing great things. I really do. And look, sometimes things just don't work out. It is what it is, man. You know, it was a great platform. I'm happy that Patrick shared it with me for as long as he did. But those guys owe me nothing, and it's, you know, I wish them nothing but success. There. I mean, everybody thinks there's like this weird thing because of the way that it ended, and I get it. We didn't talk about it. There was a lot of weirdness. There would be just so much you have to explain. But the number one thing there is not being good, it's being loyal. And, you know, I'm loyal to the truth. That's above all else, I am loyal to the truth. And that's what it is. So, you know, I'm not, and so that's more on me than it is anybody else. I got the message. I could have toned it all the way down, and I could have been what they wanted me to be, but then I wanted to be true to myself, and it's all right. I'd rather do this. Thank you for watching Gerard vs. Evil, and thank you guys so much for coming over and checking it out. Go tell the rest of the folks in the comments over there, and go tell everybody else that this show's great so that you watch it. Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Go ahead, Skylar.
So, Uncircumcised Circus says, would you say the people running the show are communists or use communist strategies to gain support?
That is an excellent question from Uncircumcised Circus. The word communist, I'm throwing it around like a boulder, because at the end of the day, I'm trying to learn from leftist tactics. They simplify things so it's easy for people to narrow in. Are they, by definition, communists? Probably not. Probably not. Do they employ a ton of communist tactics, and will they sell socialism for their own empowerment? Absolutely. 100%. They're working they want some sort of Chinese level, you know, what, it's almost like a neo-fascism, you know, it's like free market within a controlled environment. Like the government sets all of the rules and the boundaries, and then, you know, the market's able to operate within what the government, but again, that is so ripe for corruption, because then the government just blesses which companies are going to win. You know, there will be no Lyft. Uber's got our blessing. Uber is the ride share. There will be no Nvidia. We've already said Microsoft. They're doing our chips. You have to let the market work. You have to let the market work. You can incentivize markets, but right now we are in this odd corporatist communist. It's getting convoluted. It's a great question. To simplify the answer with my Kamala Harris word salad here, they're using leftist tactics. Are they dyed-in-the-wool communists? Time will tell. They are not. They are not. They're not classical liberals. They are not Federalists or Republicans in the sense that our founding fathers had. They want nothing to do with the country our founding fathers dreamed up. You have to understand, these are power-hungry people. These are people that want power above all else, and they believe that they're entitled to it. They have lived a life. Like, you got to understand, like, all the way back to college, right? When you made the dean's list, you could eat in, or at least in my school, I don't know about, you know, anybody else's. If you made the dean's list, you could eat in the faculty cafeteria. And in the faculty cafeteria, it was like white glove service, steak. Meanwhile, we're eating prison food, Sodexo, with the students. So it was like they were already teaching people that this is a tiered society. So it's amazing that these places that, you know, have these like egalitarian utopian sales pitches, within there, it's still social hierarchies. But again, it's depending on obedience and liberty. No, not liberty, sorry. Obedience and loyalty, the opposite of liberty. It's based on, are you obedient to the higher ups? Do you do what you're told? It's not based on intellect. It's not based on achievement, you know? So I even in college, I really resented that. I recognized that and I resented that. I really did. You know, this kind of like membership has its perks mentality. It's always like, ugh, it's just so gross to me. Really gross, especially when I figured out pretty early on that these professors, they were dumb. You know, my truck driver uncle knew more about the world than these professors did. They've never been out in the real world. They've read books and they've written books, and then they somehow lecture us on how the world is supposed to be. They wouldn't last a day in the real world. They literally wouldn't. They've never left school. But somehow they've convinced the world that they're supposed to be the people that are the authorities on the matter. It's remarkable. You know, we have replaced actual experience and actual intellect with credentialism. Like, I have these credentials, and you even see these leftists when they talk about it. I've got 3 PhDs. Oh yeah, what are they in? Well, I've studied East African literature, and I have a study in gender dysphoria. It's like, okay. Change your oil. Let me see you change your oil with your 3 PhDs, and then maybe I'll listen to you. What happens if your shitter breaks? Can you fix it? How do you grow a tomato? Like, these people, they've convinced everybody that they're smart. They're not. They're obedient. They're credentialed. It's a brownie pin. Like, you sold enough cookies. Good for you. And we've seen every leftist government become that. The party members get the best jobs, not the best people for the best jobs, the most loyal people to the party. And that's how it falls down. Eventually, it doesn't matter who's running the public park, but eventually that type of nepotism, right? The Pareto principle ourselves into a Chernobyl situation, where somebody is running, right, the largest power plants that we have, with earth-ending power at their fingertips, but they got the job because, you know, they're a Hindu woman from Canada who gets to act black and has a vagina. Like, oh, yay, good for us. Qualifications, whether we like it or not, matter, guys. And if you want to have an intellectual discussion about, like, starting points and how people can't, yeah, maybe they can't. Maybe some people don't have the opportunities other people have. And I'm all for trying to figure out equality of opportunity. Quality of outcome, you can't think of a more deplorable philosophy than equality of outcome. You can't think of it. You can't think of a more horrible ending for all of us than we all end at the same place. Can't think of it. You can't think of anything that will destroy us quicker. As good as that sounds to you liberal white women, chat's going crazy. Chat's going crazy.
Yeah, we got TJ Peterson saying Obama has been running the country this whole time, and that what Dems have done is literally anti-democracy.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, obviously, we're getting gaslit to death by our media and all these bots they have online, but these pro-democracy people they don't let their own party vote. This isn't just this one time. This isn't like an anomaly because Joe Biden had brain rot. They know this guy. They know this guy was a vegetable for months, if not years. Okay? They cheated the last primary. Okay? Kamala had 2%. Tulsi Gabbard ended Kamala Harris's career. How she's back, they kicked Tulsi Gabbard out of the Democratic Party for how harsh she shoved Kamala's failures in her face. I wish if there was a presidential debate, Trump would just like tag out like a tag team, and then we'd hear the glass break like Stone Cold, and it'd be Tulsi Gabbard walking down there like Conor McGregor to come out and talk to this chick again, and watch Kamala's face turn from black back to Hindu to green. It would be nuts. She destroyed her. Matter of fact, we got Judge Joe Brown, right? Well, let's pull up Judge Joe Brown. Let's see what Judge Joe Brown has to say about Kamala. And if you're over there, tap the screen, tap the screen, tap the screen. What's going on, brother? So if you're over there on TikTok, make sure you go over to YouTube, make sure you go over to X, make sure you go over to Facebook so you can hear what we're talking about. And all of your comments will get read. If you're on YouTube, X, or Facebook, your comments get read on the air, 100% of comments that don't have hard R's. Let's roll.
But I gotta ask you about Kamala Harris. How you feel about her?
Time out, pause.
She's a piece of shit.
Can we give a clap to Skyler real quick? Let's give a clap to Skyler. We asked him to pull up a video. He pulls up the video. We can hear it. And the kid's getting better, huh? Hey, if you've bullied Skyler in the comments, thank you. Thank you. Your negative reinforcement. It should have been meow, meow, meow. If you bullied Skyler in the comments, thank you. Your negative reinforcement has made him better. But now we do both. You give the stick, you better give a carrot. Give Skyler a shout out. He's on it today. The kid's on fire today. All right, let's play it.
I was in California. She lacked professional competence, and she worked on it by hiking up her hemline when she needed influence rather than researching. She's always tried to do the casting couch to get where she wants. Now, the problem is that'll get somebody to a certain level quickly, but you can't get past that level if you don't have competence and talent. So my thing about it is if I'm crude about it, in this city years ago, I used to represent a whole bunch of pimps and hoes, and I know a hoe when I see one. And I say this, I don't care, women, you do what you want to do if you want to have recreational sex, but when you do the casting couch or anything else for professional purposes to get paid or advance, you a hoe.
Golly.
And she's old hoe. And the problem is what is she supposed to do? Somebody, one of her sycophant slaves comes up and unwraps her in a carpet naked at Putin's feet, and he says, oh yeah, I'm Julius Caesar. He said, no, ho, I got better stuff here already. Plus, I don't want you anyway, you old woman.
Oh!
Get on up. You know. Or Xi Jinping, is he supposed to be impressed? She's doing word salad. Well, we're here today because China and the U.S. are here today, and that's why we have to agree on what we're doing here today. Like, fool, what did you just say? You know, did you say anything?
Oh my goodness gracious. Oh my oh my goodness. Huh? The judge. Listen, guys, Judge Brown's got to come on the show. You guys got to help me. You guys got to help me. You need to tweet him. You need to add him. I have to sit down and I have to buy. He probably doesn't drink. He seems like a squared away guy. But if he drinks, I need to buy him a drink. I need to have a drink with that guy. Are you kidding me with that? He hit her with the Cleopatra. He's like, you're gonna roll out that old hoe in front of Julius Caesar. He's like, what am I supposed to do with this ran through? You're going to drop Kamala Harris at Xi Jinping's feet? And he's like, I don't want Willie Brown's leavings. Jeez Louise. Hey, fake it till you make it, give head to get ahead. Whatever you got to do. Membership has its perks. Imagine if you could just be good at your job. Imagine if you could just be qualified. Imagine if you could just do it on merit. Tulsi Gabbard, you're telling me Tulsi Gabbard would not be, Gerard, you only like right-wing people. Gerard, you're a Nazi. You're telling me Tulsi Gabbard would not be a better president of the United States than Kamala Harris? Seriously? She's everything you like about Kamala. All you like about Kamala, call it, be fair. Be fair. All you like about Kamala Harris is that she's not a white man. That's all you like. Tulsi Gabbard checks that box. Checks it. And she served this country. And she loves this country. And she doesn't cackle, and she's not always drunk. She's not a communist. She's farther left than I would like. I wouldn't be comfortable in an economic, I wouldn't love it. Not being comfortable is probably the wrong word. I wouldn't love it. Wouldn't be my ideal economic philosophy, but I never for a second would believe that Tulsi Gabbard would not put America first, right? So we could disagree. We could have ideological disagreements about the allocation of our resources, but I would never for a second believe Tulsi Gabbard would not put the United States of America first. Say what you want about RFK. I disagree with a lot of RFK. But I would never for a minute believe RFK would not put us, the citizens that he is serving, first. I believe that. I really, truly believe that. I do not for a second believe that Joe Biden, Jill Biden, who was running it, Kamala Harris, Eric Holder, Michelle Obama, Hillary Clinton, or Barack Obama. Definitely not Nancy Pelosi. Definitely not Chuck Schumer. Absolutely not Jerry Nadler. Adam Schiff. Any of those people put us first. Not a one of them. Not a single one of those people put American citizens first. In fact, they're pretty embarrassed by us. Look at what these people on the left have to say about J.D. Vance, who represents, his hillbilly elegy, right? He represents middle America, right? Isn't that the idea? J.D. Vance is just, hey, grew up poor, drug addict, single mom, made his way through the education system, did it the way the Democrats want it, went through public school, got his law degree, wrote a book, got a Hollywood deal. This guy's a Democrat the whole way. He's a Democrat win. But he ended up being white. So somebody like Molly Jong Fast, that lunatic, says, J.D. Vance wants nothing but white kids in America. J.D. Vance's wife is a brown Indian. His kids are brown. J.D. Vance's kids are brown. Do they even, Molly Jong Fast? Are you serious? This guy wants nothing but white kids in America, except for his own half Indian kids? You losers. The Democratic Party is full of nothing but freaks, weirdos, and power-hungry losers. It is a party of angry women, black people who love special treatment, and gay folks who want to be either black or female. That's who the Democratic Party is. That's their triangle of sorrow. Angry cat ladies, black people who believe they deserve special treatment, right? Narcissists, in other words, and the gay people who want to be both. Is that fair to say? Is that fair to say that is the majority of the Democratic constituency? These are the people that made comedy basically illegal for at least 5 years. These are the people censoring. These are the people shutting down bank accounts of the people that they disagree with, deplatforming. But they think J.D. Vance is weird. There's a video of the Democrats got their talking points to say that J.D. Vance and Republicans are weird. And it's just at least 2 minutes of Republicans are weird. Republicans are weird. It's remarkable to me how these people get their talking points and they just get on message. Isn't it so weird? Isn't that weird? Isn't it so weird that these guys, I think that's it, bro. Isn't it so weird that these guys get their talking points and then that's just it?
Kamala Harris is going to pick anyone as weird and creepy as J.D. Vance.
Frankly, J.D. Vance, just dumb Vance, is pretty weird.
It's not just a weird style that he brings. It's that this leads...
No, that's not it. But I mean, that's showing that the Democrats are so weird. Now, there's a whole thing with Kamala saying they're just weird. She talks like a DC villain. It's so strange, but remarkable that the people who got caught, butt fucking each other in the Congress floor, the guys who got caught stealing in our administration. I'm not talking about their constituents. I'm talking about in the Biden administration. You've got You've got cross-dressing Matt Damon, who got caught stealing people's what was it, suitcases from the from the airports, and then wearing their clothes. You know, you've got the one general who likes to dress like a dog and have his lover walk him around on a leash. You know, you got these people sponsoring drag shows for kids that say it's not going to lick itself. No. But J.D. Vance is weird. Yeah, for sure. You guys got that. J.D. Vance might be weird. I don't know. He could be weird. He seems like he might be weird. You guys might be right. But that's what you guys are going with? The Democratic Party? Somebody else is weird? I don't know if that's the messaging you guys want to roll with. You guys you can't get your messaging right. Are you pro-democracy? Like what? Let's guys, I want to help you. I want Democrats, you guys are going through it. You guys are going through it. I want to help you. Let's work through this together. Okay. You want to say that Trump is a threat to democracy? Okay. You have to let your own people vote in your primary. Fair? We're going to work through this together. If Trump's a threat to democracy, that's the message. You can't not let your own people vote on their candidate. Fair? I feel like that's fair. Okay, great. If J.D. Vance is weird, and he might be, is weird bad? Because you're saying weird is bad. Like, you're saying, like, J.D. Vance is weird, but then everything you guys do for the last 20 years is so fucking weird. So is weird bad? Then why is everything you do weird? Kamala Harris is not far left wing. She's a centrist. Okay, so is being left wing bad? Then why is everything you've done for the last 20 years sprinting us left? Which way is it? You're speaking riddles to us. Which way is it? Speaking of speaking riddles, let's pull up Adam Conover on the White Dudes for Kamala. This Zoom call that had, there was not, pull up the picture first so people can see who was on the Zoom call. There was not a single 200-pound bench press on this entire Zoom call. They raised $4 million. The communists raised $4 million. How many homeless could that money have helped? Right? All of these people, all they do is lecture us how good people they are, what good people they are. $4 million off a Zoom call for Kamala Harris, a multimillionaire that already has hundreds of millions behind her. You think that $4 million could have been raised towards something that could have been more helpful to your cause? How many working class families could that $4 million have helped? You fucking losers. White Dudes for Kamala. That's. Let's see who we got there. We've got the guy who writes a lot of stuff for NBC, who's remarkably, I find, unfunny. I hate when people do this, by the way. Stop scrolling. I hate when, go up a little bit. I hate when people do this just because you, like, don't like somebody. You say they're unfunny. Like, I hate that. Like, that's so stupid. Like, Wanda Sykes got booed out of the Count Basie Theater in Red Bank, New Jersey. Very red area of New Jersey, which, you know, who went to the Wanda Sykes show? So Wanda Sykes has been funny for a very long time. That's the wrong audience. So don't be like, Wanda Sykes is not funny. Wanda Sykes is funny, just not to you. That dude in the top left, yeah, I don't think he's funny. He's never been in anything that was funny. He's been in Veep. Like, this guy's gotten more roles. Anyway, then you got the dude in the center there. Then you got Adam Conover in the top right, one of the absolute worst people. The single worst episode in the history of Joe Rogan was Adam Conover. That was just such a joke. David Hogg in the middle, a guy famous for being somewhere around where a school shooting was. Then you got the Joker, the Jedi himself, Mark Hamill there. Never seen somebody melt down worse than that dude. Then the guy in the bottom left, he's that economist. He's always on Bill Maher. He's kind of a moderator, or at least he likes to act like a moderator. Then you got Lance Bass, who spoke the whole time about privilege and understanding privilege and how we have to help the future, while you can see his oceanfront property behind him. And then who's the dude in the bottom right? I don't know who the guy in the bottom right is. Yeah, Lance Bass lecturing about privilege and about, doing the right thing for the future and understanding our role as white men is to understand our privilege. And while he has easily a $10 million property on the background of his Zoom. Pull up Adam Conover because, again, mixed messaging. Mixed messaging, man. This dude, this is the best. This is the best. Like, this is just incredible. He is the perfect leftist, right? He tries to act like a tough guy all the time, which is great because he's like 5'8", 160 pounds. Love that. Absolutely love that. Then he talks about, like, I've been in Hollywood for a long time. He had one show, and he worked for College Humor. You know what I mean? Like, we're not talking about Spielberg here, okay? And then he goes and says that white people complain that there aren't jobs for him. No, before that even, he says Hollywood is an industry like anything else. Incorrect. Every other industry that would perform the way Hollywood has performed over the last decade would be dead, right? Like if horse and buggy, right, it went away. They stopped making money. They went away. Like, imagine if this industry committed suicide. It's not an industry like any others. It's actually an industry like no other. Every other industry has to do what the population wants in order to stay in business, right? Like Toyota, as much as they may want to go green, they can't stop making the Tundra. They can't stop making gas-powered cars, which are now known as ICE cars for some reason. Internal combustion engine, I guess it sounds natural. Toyota may want to go green, but they can't because they have to sell what the customer wants. Hollywood gives the customer nothing that it wants. Hollywood shouldn't exist. Hollywood should be bankrupt. Hollywood is just a propaganda machine at this point that is doing whatever the CCP and whatever the leftist donors want them to do. That's where their money's coming from. Nobody's buying anything. The Wolverine Deadpool movie was the first profitable movie, I think, in like 5 years. So it's not an industry like any others. Gaslighting, number two. This guy's a professional gaslighter. Tough guy, not a tough guy. Gaslight one. Hollywood's an industry like any others. I'm just like you, auto workers. I'm just a union man like you. No, you're not. Two, you're in a propped up industry that is there to produce propaganda, not profit. You are in no way beholden to the marketplace. You are not like any other industry. Number two. Now here's where it gets good, and I'm going to play it. This is where it gets real good. He says, and I hear all the time that there are no jobs for white men, and I tell them immediately, "F you." I bet that's what he does. I bet that's what that dude does right there. He looks them in their face, balls up his fist, gets his shoulders high and goes, "Fuck you." I saw him crumble like feta when Joe Rogan just asked him the simplest questions about his worldview. This guy did not say, "F you." I'd bet anything. Maybe in the back of his brain, he's the bad guy from The Incredibles. He's wearing his cape. Fuck you! He didn't say it. And I know a lot of actors who believe that they are not getting roles because they are white men who have been Democrats their whole life, who have voted Democrat, who have supported the union. They feel very, very betrayed because they have been betrayed. So this guy, in one sentence, tells them, it's not happening. You're lying. As the great Orwell said, the party told you, do not believe the evidence of your eyes and ears. This was their final, what does it say? Final most, I should know the quote. Used to know it by heart. This was their final, most extreme policy? I don't remember. Bottom line, don't believe your lying eyes. It's you. You're the problem. Okay, fair enough. It's not happening. You're right. I'm wrong. It's not happening. Then proceeds to talk for 2 more minutes about why it's a good thing that it's happening. Gaslighting 101. Gaslighting 101, Adam Conover. It's not happening. F you. And now let me tell you why it's a good thing it's happening. Go ahead, play the clip.
We have a lot of Hollywood folks on this call, and I want to emphasize Hollywood is an industry like any other, and I think sometimes our problems help reflect the world. Something that I've heard a lot as a white man in Hollywood is that I didn't get such and such an opportunity because they couldn't hire a white man. That's something that you hear now quite often, and when I'm told that, I tell the person, first of all, who told me that to fuck off because that's racist and it's a lie when they tell you that. It's designed to...
Pause. Do you believe he says that, Skylar? Skylar, do you believe he says that?
Nah. Nope.
I move my non-dairy soy latte to the side. I lean forward. I look that racist right in his goddamn eyes and I say, F off. Not on my watch. Cracker. Hollywood is an industry like any other, and it's reflective of America. Name me one industry in America Hollywood is reflective of. Please. Name me one industry in America that could fail, that could commit suicide the way Hollywood has, that could give its people shit sandwich after shit sandwich after shit sandwich and still exist. Name me one other industry. The defense industry, maybe. Maybe the defense industry. Defense contractors and Hollywood studios, the only people that get unlimited amounts of resources and never have to produce any results for the American people. And I tell him, and I looked him right in his greasy little stinky chalky white eyes, and I told him to fuck off. And scene. Let's go back to Adam Conover cosplaying a tough guy.
Divide people. But more importantly, the reason I tell them to f off is because I know that everybody else who is maybe being considered for that opportunity is the sort of person who just a little while ago would have not been considered for that opportunity because they were not a white man, except no one would have ever told them that to their face.
Pause. Which is it, Adam? Is it happening or is it not? You said it's not happening, and then he says, but that opportunity would have never been on to somebody that wasn't a white person. Yes, you're right. There has never been anybody but white people ever in the history of entertainment. You are so right. Oh my God, we've done it. We've cracked it. Adam Conover did it. He solved racism. Adam Conover was born in 1983. Okay. Adam Conover was born in 1983. All right, I'm going to leave the TikTok live because I need my phone. You guys are going to have to go over to YouTube. You guys are going to have to go over to X and see the rest. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Bye-bye. So in 1983, let's do this together. Let's see. Did Adam Conover end racism? All right, let's see. Top movies of 1983. Let's see. Top 5 movies of 1983. Okay. Oh my God. This is so great. The number 1 film of 1983 is Scarface. Bunch of Cubans. There's a white guy lead, no doubt about it, playing a Cuban. The rest of it's Cubans and Jewish guys playing Cubans. Okay, maybe that's to your point. 2, Trading Places. Starring Dan Aykroyd. Oh, God, another white guy. You're right. And Eddie Murphy. How did he get in there? I thought. Wait, how? There's no way. There's no way. No, that's nuts. That can't be. Let's look at 1984. What are the top movies? 1984. Oh man, that's domestic box office. Okay. Hey, he's right. When you're right, you're right. The top movie in 1984 was The Terminator. Now, The Terminator was a white guy who could barely speak English, and it was basically Hitler's wet dream. You are absolutely right about that. But did you know that the person originally casted for the role of the Terminator was O.J. Simpson? But they, believe it or not, they did They did testing and found out that the population did not find it believable that O.J. Simpson could be violent. If you don't believe me, look it up. 2, Amadeus. Sure. 3, Once Upon a Time in America. Now, in 1984, Italians, I believe, were just starting to be thought of as white. So, yep, let's say that they're white. Yep. Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. Ghostbusters. I guess Winston is out. Okay. I don't know. Let's say he's right. Let's say he's right. The 80s were so racist. There was nobody but white people getting any jobs. No doubt about it. Let's go 1994. Top movies. He's in Hollywood. He understands the real world. He gets it. He gets it.
Better be Lion King, man.
1994, the top box office. It was 1994 the best year for movies. Huh. Jeez. 1994 the best year in movie history? I guess 1994 is like known to be like the year of movies, huh? You got Shawshank Redemption. Now, Shawshank Redemption, I get it. I get it. You know, a white lead again. Morgan Freeman as Red. Well, how can that be, though? Because in the Stephen King novel, far left-wing Stephen King, Red is an Irish guy. That's where Red, the nickname, comes from. So they casted a black guy in a role that was written for a white guy? How can that be possible? I thought, no. Adam Conover told me there were no roles for non-white people. Is Adam lying? I don't want to live in a world where Adam Conover's lying. If Adam Conover's lying about this, what else could he be lying about? Do you think he's actually not really a tough guy? Oh, this is crazy. Adam. Oh, let's let Adam finish. Let's let Adam finish his thoughts.
Right? Or they wouldn't even had a chance to go into the room and audition, or maybe they wouldn't even made it to Los Angeles, right?
Oh, that's right. They don't. Pause. They don't know how to get to Los Angeles. Did black people were they not allowed in Los Angeles? Skyler, help me. I don't know.
You know, I still don't know that one.
How did Magic Johnson get to Los Angeles? How did Kareem Abdul-Jabbar get to Los Angeles? Adam said they weren't allowed in Los Angeles. How did Pam Grier get into Los Angeles? How? I don't understand. I don't get it. I don't know. I don't know how Jim Brown did all those movies. Did Carl Weathers? Have I been missing Carl Weathers? I just don't understand. Dude, Eddie Murphy. I liked Eddie Murphy movies. I remember watching The Air Up There, where Marlon Wayans shoots Tupac. These guys are so full of shit. They have such a narcissistic white savior complex. They are fighting battles that were fought in the 1950s. And I think a lot of this comes down to that, right? Because in the 1980s, they were learning about the freedom fighters from the early 20th century, and they idolized them. But those people did a lot of the work. They did a lot of the heavy lifting. And I'm sure there were racists. I'm sure there were. I'm sure there were people that would have been great for roles that were ostracized because of their skin color or their sexual orientation. I'm positive that happened. Just as I'm positive it's happening now. It was wrong then, and it's wrong now. It was wrong when it happened to people of color, and it's wrong that it's happening to white people. And if you can't see that, fuck off. Get this loser off my screen. What a fucking nerd. So sick of these nerds. Revenge of the nerds. You want to see what real racism doesn't look like? People don't understand. Racism is quiet. Racism is like looking around the room, seeing not everybody looks like you, and then being like, let's get out of here. and then writing a bad Yelp review. That's racism. That's what Democrats do. What Democrats perceive as racism is equality. For example, I have no doubt President Trump speaking to this remarkably hostile reporter, who happens to be a black female, will be portrayed as racism, when in fact it is equality. Because if she was a white man asking him these questions in this way, he would react the same way. That's equality. And that's what we're looking for.
Rabid to describe black district attorneys. You've attacked black journalists, calling them a loser, saying the questions that they ask are, quote, stupid and racist. You've had dinner with a white supremacist at your Mar-a-Lago resort. So my question, sir, now that you are asking black supporters to vote for you.
Pause.
Why should black.
Why does she keep saying black, black, black? Like, why so much emphasis? Also, why does the race of the person matter? Now, I understand that this is a black event, but there's this like separation. There's this like idea of like, you know, black is like some kind of like special, unassailable thing that I really think is going to end up being a bad thing for the quote unquote black community. I think it's going to breed a lot of resentment over time, personally. I really do. And I say that as somebody that doesn't have any skin in the game. I know black people that are awesome. I know black people that suck. I don't think of people as like a monolith. I've never thought of people like as like, oh, wow, every time I see that Serbian, I know XYZ about them. You know, I know that there's a lot of great, like, stupid comedy that can be done about stereotypes, but I mean, like, white people be like, it's the lowest form of humor. You'll notice on all my clips, I pretty much don't do it. I try to avoid it as much as possible. But like this idea that like black people don't like I should think about what I'm saying. It's okay for me to be harsh with a white critic, but if I have a black critic, I have to be very gentle. I need to think about, you know, my words and how they may be perceived by the black. Why is she saying it like that? You know. And anyway, so why do black men specifically respect Trump? Why does he keep growing in popularity? Because of how he handled this question. And this is a note for all you white folks out there, especially my white men. Stop being pussies. Okay? If you're not actually racist, if you don't have any real hate in your heart, look at somebody who is attacking you and treat them as you would attack anybody. Oh, excuse me. Treat them as you would treat anybody attacking you. If you would like to tell somebody to go fuck themselves, like Adam Conover would, but you're looking at somebody and you're like, well, she's a black woman, I can't say that. You're racist. Now, you may be racist for good, but you're racist because if it was me saying it, you'd tell me to fuck off, right? So you're considering her race and her gender in your response. And you're interpreting her as being too soft to handle your truth. You're interpreting her as being too important for you to be honest with, which she's above you, she's below you. Equality is what we're going for, right? So you come at me with energy, you're going to get that energy in return. Trump, show him how it's done.
After you have used language like that.
Well, first of all, I don't think I've ever been asked a question so in such a horrible manner. First question. You don't even say, hello,
Pause.
How are you?
That's a room full of black people. Many black women. How did they respond to his response? Game recognizes game. She came with energy. She got that energy in return. Serve, volley. You think Mitt Romney's answering that question like that? Or is he immediately on the defensive, backpedaling, going down the wrong side of the mountain on scale? Well, I know many fine black men, and as my vice president is black, and I drafted at least 8 African Americans on my fantasy football team last year. Defensive. They just smell blood and then they hit. Nah. Who the fuck are you to ask this question? What kind of a question is this? Next. And then he continues. Go ahead.
Are you with ABC? Because I think they're a fake news network, a terrible network.
Listen to the hooting and hollering. What a brilliant move by Trump. Because he didn't say, are you black? He goes, aren't you with ABC? You're not a black woman in front of me. You're one of them. You're with them. You're with the bad guys. You're fake news. Nobody does it better than the left. The left, Trojan horses, all of their violent, vitriolic behavior behind society's untouchables. You can't say that, I'm a gay man. You can't say that, I'm a black woman. So then people like Adam Conover could be like, this racist, if I was sitting there, I would have told him to fuck off. Fucking loser.
All right, so leftist calling people weird is the ultimate LOL.
Is that nuts?
Jake.
I mean, honestly, who said that?
Jake.
Jake, is that nuts? Is that the most nuts thing that somebody in a room somewhere was like, guys, you know what? Like, you could just see him. You could see the presentation like it's Mad Men. Like he thinks he's John Hamm. It's definitely a guy. No, it's probably a girl. Let's be honest. Something as corny as like that. Sorry. That's cornball stuff like that's coming from some chick that went to an Ivy League school. Guys, they're just weird. All right? Like, we're overthinking this, okay? They're weird. Like, you know? Like, okay. They're weird. After everything that you've done, after everything you've supported, from the pink hats to the rocking and the screaming to the drag shows to the trannies fighting women, troons, I'm sorry, hope I don't get kicked off YouTube. JD Vance is weird. That's so funny. JD Vance wants a world of nothing but white children. Molly Jong Fast is going to be so disappointed to see what his children look like. Remarkable. Oh, man. Go ahead. Comments.
Jay continues to say, being normal and having a family and not wanting to identify as a cat is the new weird.
Weird. He's a weirdo. He's a whack job. Keep him away from the kids. Go ahead, Skyler.
All right, so Brett Patterson says, do we deserve liberty if our own people don't care about what it is going on with our politics? How are the people falling for this all the time?
Read it again.
Do we deserve liberty if our own people don't care about what is going on in our politics? How are the people failing or falling for this all the time?
It's a good question. Let me think about how to answer that. Continue.
All right, Barbara Quinn, she says she loves this.
Barbara Quinn! The prettiest of all the Quins. She's the best. Barbara, I love you. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much. You're the best.
Brett says they got the money from...
I mean, the Quins are just a beautiful... I mean, they're a beautiful family. And look, I'm...
That's sweet, man.
I'm biased because I'm an Irish. I think it's a I think you keep hitting the wrong one. That's the one we're looking for.
There we go.
That's the one we're looking for. I mean, I'm obviously biased because, you know, they're fresh off the boat, Irish, beautiful folks. They're Irish, they're from Jersey, great people, but just like a legitimately beautiful family too. Just really, and inside and outside, but outside. Anyway, go ahead.
Brett Patterson says they got the money from Act Blue, a money laundering scheme.
It is. Act Blue is a money laundering scheme. Act Blue doesn't even ask for verification on credit cards anymore. You can just put a credit card number in. It doesn't ask for you can steal a credit card.
And it's insured or what?
Who cares? They run everything. Act Blue, dude. The Democrats are just the mafia. It's a lot of the people who prosecuted the modern Democratic Party is a lot of the cops, feds, and attorneys that prosecuted the mafia, that got rid of the mafia, but kept the mafia tactics. They learned so much about how to just game the system. And a lot of them don't even see it as like bad. They have a weird thing with these guys. Like a lot of these, they're like, well, if you don't like it, change it. They almost kind of really think of it like as a game. Because they've only ever been in these really high-level elite situations. Like when we met the dude at the country club who was like, I don't understand what people are complaining about this economy. My stocks are higher than ever, and everything's booming. You can't even get a seat at a restaurant in Boca Raton. And I'm literally looking at this guy like, it's been decades since you've bought your own groceries, hasn't it? He looks at me like with such anger in his eyes. I wasn't always this rich. You've been rich for a long time. A long time. You don't know what it's like. And that's these guys that went to these Ivy League schools, been making a couple $100,000 as they're a partner now in Schlongendong and Siegel LLC. You know, they've been doing mergers and acquisitions for 20 years, and they don't know what it's like. So they see it all as like a little bit of a game. They're like, oh, well, this team has the ball, that team has the ball. You know, we'll try to stop them. It's just politics. No, it's not. It's not. It's not politics when your heating is unaffordable, when your housing is unaffordable, when your groceries are unaffordable. It's not just politics. It's not politics when you're taking payoffs for a global cabal to infiltrate our American Republic. That's treason. You've sold us out for clout, to be invited in the cocktail parties, to take a picture with Kamala. You showed us who you are during the lockdowns. You really did. You showed us who you are. You would step over all of us on the ground to take a picture with Obama. You wish we were all dead. If deep inside your heart, I can see into your soul. You would much rather we be dead than you have to admit you were wrong. You've never admitted you were wrong. And you were so wrong. You've been wrong about so much for so long that you have to lie constantly. You have to gaslight. You have to manipulate because you're never right. You're never right. You've been lied to by the people you admire. And you can't deal with that. You can't handle it. You can't handle that Jon Stewart's been manipulating you. You can't handle that Stephen Colbert is an industry plant. How could that be? Gerard, if you were any good, you'd be on Saturday Night Live. Yeah, no doubt. No doubt about it. You're right about that. I wonder how Norm Macdonald felt about that. I wonder what Rob Schneider feels about that. I wonder what... It's a big club and you ain't in it. What are we talking, like in a millennia, everything's going to be some shade of latte, right? Like, I mean, there's... The tribes are going to change, right? The tribes are going to change. What the Irish were thought of when we first came to this country is deplorable the way illegal immigrants are thought of now. And then they became part and parcel to what the backbone of this nation is. And I suspect that the Latin community will be much the same. I think I know second generation Latin families that are far more patriotic than, fifth generation white families in Berkeley. I think what's going to end up happening is you're going to see black people start to take agency of themselves. You're going to see some of them say, no, I'm not just my color. I am not just my race, man. This is fucking nonsense. No, I'm a small business owner. I don't want high taxes. At some point, the free money train dries up, and I think especially with what's happening with, the anti-Christianity specifically of the left is going to have a very big effect on southern, southeastern, black, and Latin communities. I think the continued anti-Christianity, you make no mistake about it, they hate Christianity. Hate it. The southern, the southeastern, black community and Latin community are going to have a tough time getting over that. And here's where it gets really interesting. If the black and Latin community switch to at least being 50-50 Democrat-Republican, or if, God forbid, a third party could ever possibly if we could ever just have a third option. Let's see how the Democratic Party handles that. I got a feeling it could get nasty. I got a feeling it could get very, very nasty. You see how they handle people like Sway Lee, who step outside of what they say what they're not supposed to say. Look at their own people. You want to talk about racism? Look at how Democrats treat a black man who doesn't toe the Democrat line, who doesn't forward the Democrat narrative and isn't part of the Democrat agenda. Read the tweets. Read some of those replies. There's a reason Marianne Williamson, who ran for president as a Democrat, said the most shocking thing about running for president was how nasty Democrats were. This is her quote, not mine. I'd ask Skylar to pull it up, but I don't have the 8 minutes.
Be true.
Marianne Williamson said, I expected all the hate to come from the right. I had always heard the right was evil and nasty, but my God, the left, they're so much worse than the right. Got caught in a hot mic moment. We've all known it. Anybody that's been in these academic circles, anybody that's been in entertainment knows it. It's a group of bullies. It is a cult. It is a union. And they treat you like a scab if you dare to see yourself as an individual. You're with them or you're their enemy. 1,000%. It's a whole group of Adam Conovers. That's why. That's probably why. It's just a group. It is an army of weakness. 1 million betas, arm in arm. This is why I need 10 men. 10. Not 20, not 100, although that would be great. Because if just 10 of us stand in front of this monument and there's 1,000 of them, we'll stop them. And that imagery will show the rest of the world that they are a paper tiger. There may be a lot of them, but they are all so weak. They are all so unworthy of your respect. And it'll be good for them. It'll be good for them to see what standing on your own 2 feet does for a person, what it does for a man. It'll be good for them to see that it is better to be one of those 10 than it is to be one of these 1,000. I don't hate them. I want to stop them. I feel like in some ways they're sick and they need to be helped. They don't know they've been infected with the mind virus, as Gad Saad calls it. The Parasitic Mind, a book everybody should read. I don't hate them. These are my brothers. These are my countrymen. I've seen enough of them get it. It just takes a long time. Nobody is better for the cause of liberty than somebody that used to be a leftist and is now, whether you want to call it red-pilled or white-pilled, they've seen it, the error of their ways.
All right, so Barbara Quinn says, love you too. Very sweet. Brett Patterson mentions CIA worked with the mob, Operation Gladio.
Lucky Luciano. Now, if you want to go even further, look at how the Bank of America got its start. Now, if we really want to go down a rabbit hole, and I can do this, maybe we'll do this Friday. I'll do a deep dive, depending on how the news is. I'll do a deep dive on Bank of America. What I'd like to start doing is at least once a week doing like one deep dive episode. Maybe it's like a Glenn Beck ripoff or whatever, but I'd like to give an hour into something specific and see what we can get out of it and let the sleuths in the comments help us out. But do a little research. Maybe we'll do it on Friday on the Bank of America. How the Bank of America got its start, where it got its financing, and then BlackRock, Vanguard, State Street own everything. We all know that. Everybody knows that meme. But those are publicly traded companies. Who owns BlackRock? Who owns State Street? Who owns Vanguard? A lot of that is going to turn around to be Berkshire Hathaway. Well, that's crazy. So who owns Berkshire Hathaway? Well, a lot of it is BlackRock, State Street, and Vanguard. They're owning each other in this hydra, in this self-sustaining network. But there's one that comes in there at the end. There's one company that comes in at the end with Berkshire Hathaway. Remember, State Street, Vanguard, and BlackRock own everything except Berkshire Hathaway, which owns them. And then they own Berkshire Hathaway, but there's one company who's in there in the Berkshire Hathaway ownership group. Bank of America. Maybe we'll do a deep dive on Friday, but I don't want to die. So maybe we'll do like a semi-deep dive. Give these people, everybody, these comments are incredible. Read the rest of these comments. They deserve to have their voice heard.
Runaway Slav says, even before Gladios, the OSS was working with the mob to detect spies on loading docks during World War II.
That's right. That's honestly why. Who was the cross-dresser that ran the FBI there?
No clue.
Not Hoover. Yeah, J. Edgar Hoover. That's why he was always a little bit preferential towards the mob, because they helped weed out. Because remember, the Italians were aligned with the Nazis in the Axis, and the Italian mafia acted as kind of spies for America, as what Italy was doing. Yeah, so the Italian mafia, very, very interesting what they were able to do in World War II.
Brett Patterson says, don't talk about the Jays. We're 420 friendly, aren't we?
Mm-hmm.
That's what he means?
Yes, of course. Yes, we're very... Well, I'm not a weed guy, but please, as you... And I'm sure that's what he means, for sure. That's what he means. All right. If you like this, please like, share, subscribe. We're going to go live every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 3:30 to 4:30. That's what the idea, but I guess 3:30 to 5. Get you through the end of your work days. If we keep going an hour and a half, if I can't shut my fat ass up, we'll move it forward to 3 o'clock, get you out of there so you're not sitting there at your desk. Again, please like, share, subscribe. Go to tellerx.com. Use code S&T for 20% off. That's tellerx.com for all of your telehealth needs. I am Gerard Michaels. That is Skylar Kelly. This is Gerard versus Evil, and I will see you on Friday.
Everyone's a victim!